welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of March 22nd, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, two gentlemen who cannot wait to talk about both science and science fiction.
I'm Benjamin Daniel Wallace. I was like, hey, he's going to get to the end of the sentence because I can't wait.
Devon Kraft.
Hooray! Devin's here.
He could wait. He was able to wait. He's better than the rest of us.
He's a very patient man. How often, wait, hold on. I know we've got a whole list here. How often are you guys called men and not boys? And do you feel like you are a man or a boy?
I feel like I'm a boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do not see myself as a responsible adult.
Yeah.
It's not my self-image.
I think it depends. Like when I am in at work mode, Ben, like there are times when I wish that other people just grow up, you know?
Yeah.
And that makes me feel a little old, but in almost everything else I feel like I'm just that little boy on a bike, biking around.
Little Ben Bikey boy.
Yeah.
Benny Bikey boy. I found the other day, as you guys just said, I often as well feel like a boy and can't wait until I grow up. However, the other day, I did something like for one of my daughters, and she came up and gave me a big hug and like thanked me, and I was like, oh, I feel like a real boy now. I feel like I'm dare I say man. It was a moment of like, yes, I helped you because I am father, and father is man, and man helped. It was like one of those primal moments. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember the feeling. But yeah, in general, I'm just a dumb little boy. Dumb little boy.
Hold on to that feeling, man. Hold on to that.
To being a dumb
Let
little
that
boy.
warm you. No, the feeling of like, oh, I'm a man.
Oh man,
Hold on to that feeling.
Okay, great. We are men. No, we're not. We're just little boys. Little boys that play with toys and watch cartoons and eat snacks and watch movies and play video games. And this is all that we're going to talk about, which is wonderful.
That's it. That's the podcast right there.
Yeah.
I show people I meet here in Texas my office. My office is full of Legos, guitars, Star Trek little toy thingies. And I mean, I feel like most people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. And might humor me a little bit, but I'm not quite sure what they actually think. If they're like, oh man, this guy did not grow up. But we have a neighbor who him and his son come over and play with our boys a lot. I don't know. It's him and I. We talk, but it's very surface. Like the only thing I think we have in common is we watch baseball.
Okay.
But so the other day, something at Legos come up because there's kids, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have the Lego Millennium Falcon. It's like, you've never seen my office, and so I showed him my office, and he was just like, oh yeah, it was like the least response I've ever gotten. I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is a room. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're not impressed with any of this. Oh, cool, all right.
Get out of my house. That's what you say next. out with you.
Which is fine. It's totally fine. I mean, that's the thing. I'm like, is he thinking? And I could be totally wrong. I could be misreading him. He could be shy and just not expressing himself. But just is he thinking like, oh wow, this guy's got two kids. Like, he's a lawyer. This is his office. Like, this is not the office of a father and lawyer and responsible adult.
Except you are a father and a lawyer and a responsible adult, and yes, that is your office.
Yeah.
So all of those things are true.
I think that's also more acceptable nowadays. And I'm reading in more than it's probably way unfair for me to think that whatever he could be thinking. But also, I think that is more common today with, as we've always talked about, like why this podcast exists. This is kind of standard for people our age, is from within a certain subculture.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem that strange.
All three of us grew up very poor, and we all have worked very hard and became very successful, and now are buying our childhood back and clawing it back one Lego piece at a time until we feel good inside. And that's fine.
I have my hand on my PlayStation 3. I'm just, patting it on the, approvingly.
Oh yes. I'm staring at my PC that I built part by part, year by year. It's in us. Well, good job, boys. Let's talk.
Devin, if you ever like to send those people to my office and let them, just be tremendously confused.
They look at your office and go,
free,
"Oh,
whatever.
Rats," because
yeah,
there's
because pet rats. Yeah,
I have been fortunate enough, Devin and Ben, that
not
to die
enough,
on this
not fortunate
podcast.
enough.
Piece of phlegm right at the wrong time. Excuse me. I've been fortunate enough to experience inviting several strangers into my office and being like, check this out. And I think I have gotten an appropriate reaction every single time, which is, a mixture of awe and amazement and fear, jealousy, all the feelings they should be feeling. And it makes me feel good inside. It makes me feel something.
Yeah, there you go. You. All right. So Stephen, the other evening, you and I were in our offices. No, you weren't in your office.
I was in my family room.
I don't know where you were. You were in family room. We played the new Walkabout mini golf level for Hollywood.
Yeah. Boy, that was frustrating. And not because of Walkabout mini golf.
Right. You have some issues with your network.
Yeah, my internet's been wild.
I've been having a bit of that too, and I think that perhaps Spectrum in our area is just not doing good.
My hope, my big fingers crossed, is that they're upgrading something somewhere and things will get better. But right now we have two things recording this podcast right now in case my internet goes out. Or in case Ben's does, who knows? Because when we were playing Walkabout mini golf, what was it called? Hollywood Studios, or it had a name because it's 1930s Hollywood styled, and you're putting through the movie studios, different sets and things. It's really good. But my internet wasn't being happy with me, and so I kept dropping from the game. Luckily, we wisened up. I took Ben's advice, and we just called each other instead of using the voice-to-voice through the game. So we could continue our conversation as I continually was booted from the game and had to re-sign up over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It helped out.
It is
at
just
first.
called Hollywood.
Just Hollywood.
But it's part of the Passport DLCs.
Oh, okay.
So there's been Tokyo and a couple others.
Yeah.
In the Passport realm.
What was great, we played half the course, and then that was the first time I dropped, and when I came back in, it hadn't saved my progress, and so I had to start from the beginning. And I just
usually whenever somebody drops, it gives me or joins later, it gives me the opportunity to say start at my hole or start at the beginning. They didn't give me that option, and instead they just started you back at the beginning, and you got to play all play up to me
half the course. Yeah, and since
you get ridiculously good scores because you've already played these holes.
Yeah, I had already figured out the hole, knew my strategy for every hole, and it just so happened that it all kind of worked out within par or under par, pretty much on every course up until I caught up with you. It was fun. It was a whole lot of fun. That's a good course. I know we've talked about Walkabout mini golf a lot on this podcast because it's a really good VR game. It should be advertised more. So
yeah. So yeah, they're not paying us, and it's
No,
okay.
that's
They
fine.
should pay their developers and keep
Yeah,
them on
I mean,
staff.
that's talk about that for a second.
Oh man, they had unfortunate news. Walkabout Mini Golf has they're feeling the effects of the whatever's going on, the recession right now,
Global
and
things.
yeah, all the global things. They're feeling the effects, and they had to downsize. And in addition to downsizing, it means a few different things that are going to be changing for the course of this new year. DLC courses are going up in price by $1. New DLC courses are no longer being developed to be on iOS as well as VR. New DLC courses are just going to be VR. They're not going to be on like iPhones and iPads and the like. So yeah, and then I think there was also a note that like they were reducing the frequency by which they were releasing courses, because smaller staff size means that it takes more time to get it right, you know.
And that's
So,
fine. I'm willing to pay the money because the quality's there. They've shown to be a good company. They put out quality work for what I felt was too cheap. Every course we got for like $3.99, $2.99. It depends if you like got the bundle or not. But between without the 99s, between $3 and $4, out of the gate, I would have guessed $5 the lowest per course.
Right.
I would easily pay that. So
and now here we are.
and now here we are, and that's fine. And I will happily give them my $4.99 per course because they're fun and they're good. Yeah,
it is unfortunate that they made the decision to raise the prices in addition to laying off staff. I wish that they could have been more had a little bit more forethought in order to help stem the loss a little earlier. But it is what it is. There's no way that it could be anything other than what it was. So,
and it could be.
Sad
I
to
mean,
say.
there could be other things going on in the background, like they're working on Walkabout Mini Golf 2, and now that they kind of cracked the code, they need a smaller team, and so they're privately kind of sunsetting the first game to ramp up production on the second game. That's completely pure speculation on my part. I've heard nothing about that, but like there's so many behind the scenes things that who knows what's going on. But I wish them the best. I'll continue giving my money.
And this was the first course that came out with the new pricing.
Yep.
It's but what's kind of wild about it? So it's a Hollywood course, and the entire idea is you're walking through different sets of like film sets, but each one of the films is based on one of the other courses in the game.
That's cool.
Pretty meta.
Yeah. So like it was really neat. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Very enjoyable. So, all right.
Well,
What's next?
Moving right along. Devin, you saw a movie that we all wished that we could have seen. So why don't you tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, last night, Jen and I went and saw Project Hail Mary. We saw it in IMAX, which was shot for IMAX. So
I'm jealous of that.
Really good.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I think it was probably one of the best adaptations I've seen.
Wow. That's high praise coming from you, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I mean, I knew it got good reviews. I didn't read anything extra about it. Not that I needed to. I read the book, but I didn't know if there was like, oh, they didn't do this, or people are disappointed that they changed this big thing about the movie. And so I didn't know if there was any major changes. And
Because it's a bit of a long book.
Yeah, and
I assumed that they were going to be,
and it's pretty technical at times. He takes his time to do a bunch of sciencey stuff, which is really exciting in the book when they can explain it and go over it. So I was wondering, like, what would they keep in the movie and what would they take out? And I really feel like for the most part they kept everything in. Some really small things weren't there, but I don't think they were important. And they did like some of the things like they kind of gloss over really quickly because it's like we want to say why this is happening, but we don't want to like slow the movie down and like go into detail about it, which is I completely understand too.
Right. It's a
but
different
it's just
format.
nice to have that. Yeah, it's just nice to have that in there because, I mean, we've all read the book, right?
Yep.
Ben, you've read
Yes.
it or no?
Yeah, I read it. Oh yeah.
And I don't know if I'm sure most of our audience has or hasn't, but it's not. It's kind of hard to talk about spoilers when it's like, well, the book's out there. I think most people who are watching the movie, who've one read the book, have read the book.
Are you giving us a spoiler warning right now, which is fine?
Well, no, I mean I don't have to. I'm just gonna say, you know how the book ends.
Yes.
Right. The movie, like I didn't know if they were gonna change the ending at all.
Yeah.
Right, because it's a little out there. You know, it's one of those things where like you kind of need there would be a lot of design going into it, and you know, because it's
so I was like I could totally see them just, and it's not wouldn't be that big of a change because it's just like the very end of the story. Like okay,
it's
just
like an epilogue.
flip
Like
this one thing, and so but you can kind of tell with how I talked about it that they didn't really change anything. So I was really happy about that.
That's super cool.
And so I just feel like they all the parts where they could have like gone a little bit more mainstream, they didn't, which is nice.
Oh,
I mean, they might have made it softer or easier or you know, not as technical, but it was still all there from what I remember. And I was thinking about The Martian, which was a good movie, really good book, a good movie. But they definitely took a lot out of the book. They didn't include a lot of stuff from the book because that was really technical too.
Yeah.
Very similar to the way kind of how Project Hail Mary unfolds, but just with the having a problem, finding a scientific solution, and then the fact that it takes time to go and like actually execute the solution.
Right.
And it doesn't really work. Like there's one part I remember in the book for The Martian where like he notices he's not getting as much power from his solar panels. And it's like, oh, there's a dust storm. And NASA knows there's a dust storm, but they can't communicate with him at that time. And so he just has to figure out like, oh, there's a dust storm. But it's so subtle, he can't just like look at the sky and see, oh, the dust coming from there. So he has to like literally like plan out, like I'm going to go here and see how much energy I get over the course of like a day. And then go here and see how much energy I get over the course of a day. And then compare what I get and know like which way the dust is moving. It's like really cool, but you can't really put that in a movie very easily. And there's a lot of things like that in the second half of The Martian once he gets moving from the original site to the other site where the launch, you know, launch rocket or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
the launch rocket.
Launch rocket. The launch pad rocket thingy. And so in the Martian movie, I feel like the second half actually has a lot less conflict because he kind of just goes from point A to point B without really having to overcome any hurdles because he overcomes everything kind of in the first half of the movie. And the second half is more about him getting to point B and then how they are preparing to, you know, collect him in the climax of the movie. So they definitely cut out a lot of stuff from the second half of the book from The Martian.
Yeah.
And I just thought they could do something like, but I feel like there's nothing glaring like that from this movie. I didn't feel like, oh man, they cut out this whole section because it just didn't really work. Like, no, they seem to have included everything. And, you know, the relationship between the main character and the spoiler that's already in the trailers is that there's an alien, Rocky. Their relationship is just as well done in the movie as it is in the book.
Wow.
And, you know,
that's incredible.
Just one of those like really fun, like, oh, this is cute, like buddy movie kind of thing. So they do a really good job at that.
Do they do, I'm guessing, since the way you're talking about the movie, the whistling stuff and the music angle?
That's one of the small things they don't explicitly say. He does talk in what sounds like different harmonies, and then they do the translation thing and kind of makes a program that translates it. But he never says like, "Oh, I figured out it's a harmony thing," and you know, there's like he was like thirds and fifths and stuff.
When you were talking about it, I was like, that was one of the things where I really thought that Hollywood would skip over or gloss over just because they did a different, okay. And that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. I mean, because that was a really clever thing in the book to be like, oh, how are we going to mean, it would take decades for two alien species to figure out a common language or to be able to communicate. But in this case, like for the story, it's like it's got to happen.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise,
it was clever in the book, yeah, for him to kind of like find unlock the puzzle that kind of makes it happen. In the movie, it's more just like, okay, this word means this, so I'll just write a program, and over time we'll develop a language, and that works well enough.
Yeah. Which in that kind of echoes in the book where they do that, and he talks about like the library of words that they now have and so forth. So, well, cool, man. Would you which would you recommend seeing or experiencing first? Reading the book or watching this movie?
That's a good question.
I guess it would have to be seeing the movie and then reading the book. Which I think is what I say most of the time for things like this, because it's like you're going to get so much more out of the book. You'll enjoy the movie more if you don't know what's going to happen, and you're not just constantly thinking like, well, in the book, this is how it happened. Are they going to do that? Like, and also I think I would enjoy this movie again on a second watch because I wouldn't also have that feeling of, okay, how is this different from the book? Or are they going to do this? I can just enjoy it. Having those things already answered, I can just enjoy it for what it is, which I did. I mean, I didn't feel like I was like, I mean, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. So
yeah, I think that's typically how I recommend for people as well. Like this is a good movie. If you enjoy this movie, there's an even better book. Sometimes by a lot and sometimes by a little. This sounds like this one's by a little. But I mean, the Andy Weir books, the two that I read, Martian and Project Hail Mary, they have that cool sciencey stuff. Like this is how science actually works, which is my jam. Who would have guessed? I like how science works. So like when that's written in a book, it's like, oh, this is wonderful. Translating that to the screen is not always smooth. I'm glad to see that they're doing better.
Well, yeah.
What was his other book?
Artemis.
Artemis, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't great. I mean, I read it and it was, I mean, there's a reason they skipped that one when it came to making a movie. But
fair enough.
And it wasn't bad. It was just like, it didn't have that hook the way these other two books did. It was more of just like, there's a colony on the moon and our main character uncovers like a conspiracy type thing. And there's sciencey stuff, of course, like they have to, they get in jams and they have to figure out a sciencey way out of it. But it's just a different kind of story, and it just didn't work as well as his other books did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evidently, Artemis was intended to be the beginning of a series, but with the book getting critically panned, even though it was a New York Times bestseller, his publisher turned down the idea of a sequel. But
interesting. I mean, that being said, like I think it's good when authors don't pigeonhole themselves. It just so happens he's really good at this. One dude is stranded and needs to do science to be saved. Like these two movies do kind of have that thing in common, and I'm glad that Andy Weir, like for his second big outing, and I don't know what other stuff he's written. I'm sure he's written other things.
But we've read some of his short stories.
The egg, right?
Egg, and then there was the short story with the quantum bits used for gambling that I said I didn't really like, but
and then he also is a long time like comic book or webcomic writer, so like he wrote Cheshire Crossing and Casey and Andy.
That's right.
So
you've told me about those things before, and I just instantly delete them apparently. Well,
it'll be interesting to see what he does next, because he is now in that situation where he probably wants to do something different, but it's like his two big hits have had kind of common, themes and structured the story. So it's like, where do you go from there?
I mean, he seems. I guess he's successful, so like now's the chance to do one of his like risky writes, right? Like the last one. The last one didn't work. Maybe this next one will. I'm sure he's got ideas.
Yeah, I mean, so Cheshire Crossing is completely different. Essentially, it's Alice, Wendy, and Dorothy team up to save the multiverse from Wonderland and Neverland and Oz. Like, it's
that old trope.
Yeah. Well, like there's like a boarding school called Cheshire Crossing where like, they after Dorothy and Wendy and Alice come back from, their supernatural places, they they go to a boarding school together. And yeah.
Yep. Well, there's I mean, Devin, you joke saying that old trope or whatever you said.
Are you gonna a comic book art guy who did a thing like that was very inappropriate? Is that what you're gonna bring up, or no?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, never mind.
I was going to bring up the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I'll think of it. I'll try to figure out what I was talking about.
Okay, you consult yourself with that. You have a little
we'll
sidebar.
Stop trying to figure it out now that we know that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing that I'm not thinking about? Maybe.
Let's see.
No, I was going to bring up. There is kind of a trope of taking older characters that were written around the same time and crossing their stories. A famous one in comic books is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And it's various sequels and whatnot. And Alan Moore, the writer of that, like goes even a step further and incorporates like advertising of the time. Like every fictional thing is a real thing in this world. So you'd have like a mascot for like a matchbook, like walk in the background at one point, stuff like that, where he just.
I think that is what I was thinking of.
Is that what you were thinking of? Anyway,
it gets pretty racy.
Racy?
I'll look up some comment or something about it because I just remember reading an article where someone was talking. And they're like, this old man wrote some pretty crazy stuff, but I had never read it myself, so I could.
I mean, that sounds like an Onion headline, like crazy old man comic book writer writes a racy comic book or something. And like Alan Moore looks crazy when you look at him, so like that would fit perfectly. You do some research there, Devin. You let me know what you find out.
Sexual Awakening of Alice.
Oh,
I've
never heard of that
This is
before.
what I was thinking of.
Have not.
Who wrote that?
This is Alan Moore. This is what you're talking about.
This is not what I was talking about.
Genre: erotic graphic novel, erotic graphic novel, adult fiction.
Okay,
By Alan Moore. So maybe he did a different version where it was less sexual.
No, see, yeah, whatever this thing that you're talking about, I have no idea what that is.
It's
curious.
Called Lost Girls.
Lost Girls. See, now I'm doing research on the show, so that's good. There's a bunch of other stuff called Lost Girls. Great. So now I got to type in Lost Girls.
I mean,
Alan Moore.
According to Wikipedia, it says Lost Girls is a graphic novel written by Alan Moore and illustrated by Melinda Gebbie, depicting the sexually explicit adventures of 3 female fictional characters of the late 19th and early 20th century.
Oh,
Okay.
Alice,
Definitely.
Dorothy, and Wendy. Okay.
Gotcha.
Well,
I see.
that's something that exists as well. So look at that. So to further my point, Dev, when you said, "Oh, that old trope," yeah, it happens over and over again. Apparently. Speaking of tropes, I'm getting way into pirates again. Sorry, everyone. I apologize. I'm setting up
what kind of pirates?
Of the Caribbean. This morning I watched Pirates of the Caribbean because I wanted to, and my eldest daughter watched with me. And she said, "I don't know what was happening most of the time, but I liked it." And I said, "That's great." Okay. My youngest noped out after like 5 minutes. She was like, "This is not for me," and she left, which is good. Good on her to know her limits. But the reason why I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean is because this week I'll be running a pirate board game for my my weekly like D&D group. We've been playing Land of Eam. Christina's husband runs that. Hi, Greg. He's definitely a listener. He loves it when we talk about him. So don't talk about him anymore. Shut up, you guys. So he's been running Land of Eam, which is a wonderful game. Very unique, very Muppets and Lord of the Rings and other silly things mixed together. It's a lot of fun. But as a palate cleanser, we're going to do Pirate Borg, which is very much dark, grim, pirates. It's set in the dark Caribbean where there's zombies and skeletons and ghosts and all this just treasure everywhere and all, it's every kid's dream of playing pirates. So again, we're boys. I'm going to play with other boys. We're going to play our pirate game, and it's going to be wonderful. So look forward to me talking about that more, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we
Did
lost
we lose
him.
Devin?
oh,
No, we
lost-
lost Steven.
you lost Steve.
Well,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
But I can hear
You've
him
been
now.
cutting in and out a little bit, but
Well, at least on my recording, it caught me. So this is a good time,
I'm sure
perhaps.
it was a funny joke.
To it was the funniest. Let's move on to future or now.
Future
No.
or now. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask
right.
Devin to go first on this one.
all right, Devin, take it away.
Okay, give me a second. I got to reset. There's a Simpsons reference to that Alan Moore comic, and anyway. Okay,
Devin got lost.
So-
He went on a trip.
what am I talking about? Okay, yeah, these things. So this. What?
Professional. What am I doing? Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. This thing.
These things. Go for it.
I had it open. I got way too many windows open now. But,
How many drinks have you had tonight, Devin? Be truthful.
I haven't had any.
Oh,
drinks
no.
tonight. I'm just really tired.
Fair enough.
Okay, because I opened up my article, but I also had another article that explained my article, so I can find the other one, but not the one I was going to talk about. So I'll open it again. And it's opening. Okay, so staff at new data center powered by human brain cells needs to swap out cerebral spinal fluid every day.
This is a real article.
This is real. And the first line is a grisly detail about a new data center powered by human neurons. Technicians have to constantly replenish the brainy computer's cerebral spinal fluid. So I clicked on, because this is a hyperlink to the original story, which is about the actual place itself, which is a Australian startup, Cortical Labs, has launched what it's calling the world's first code deployable biological computer. And they talk about how in 2022, it made headlines when they were able to run Pong on this. And that kind of sounds familiar. So we might have talked about it, or I might have, yeah. And so since then, they've actually been able to run Doom on it.
Yes.
So they also, in this original article, yeah. So through a combination of hard silicone and soft tissue, the company claims that owners can deploy code directly to the real neurons to solve today's most difficult challenges. So they kind of talk about two things: how it seems like maybe you'd be able to test like drugs on this to see how it affects the brain, like psychiatric things, but also the fact that you can just use it for processing like any kind of AI. So they call it a biological AI, meaning neural networks that rely on actual neurons. In other words, the neurons can be taught via the silicon chip. The only thing that has generalized intelligence are biological brains. What humans, mice, cats, and birds can do that AI can't is infer from very small amounts of data and then make complex decisions. So it seems like they're also trying to see, well, can this be the gateway to a general AI? So that would also be an interesting part of it. Also, it reminds me of Voyager that has neuro packs, right? They use biological neuro packs to run their computing on the fictional show Star Trek Voyager.
Nerd.
So the article. Then there's the article that got my attention, which was having to change the fluid. And they talk, it says that biological computers come with biological limitations. The hundreds of thousands of brain cells that power each of the Australian bio startups' CL1 machines deplete the oxygen and glucose in the liquid. And so at the start of every day, an employee tops up the biological sludge to keep everything ticking along. Which makes perfect sense. I mean, if they're biological, they're going to have biological, needs and processes. Like you got to put in the nutrients and you've got to get rid of the waste. So it makes sense that you'd have to do this.
You have to let it dream and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. And then really the article kind of just goes back into what this is about and what they're doing this for. They talk about how this needs less power than normal AI processing. So that's a big upside if they can make this work as well as they hope they can. It says they're working on scaling up operations, teaming up with another outfit to build new data center facilities in Melbourne and Singapore, with the latter set to house up to 1,000 CL1 units. It's also launching a cloud computing service. The service runs on a stack of 120 CL1 units that customers can pay for API access to, through which they can run code. So
Now,
you can.
you might be
yeah.
wondering why.
Yeah.
I don't know if like why this is a good idea, and I'm not sure if you brought it up, but like one of the benefits of this is that it has a much lower power draw than
Yeah.
other,
Mhm.
you know. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did mention that, but I wonder what it takes to where do you get the cerebral spinal fluid? Like, what kind of process and
You just
energy
crack open any
and
infant and you just pour it
Yeah,
into a
exactly.
beaker.
Gosh. Oh, how could you
That's funny.
say that?
I just saw a clip.
That was awful.
Yeah, that was really, really terrible, Stephen.
I
Go
would
back to having your internet go out.
Oh,
Man, 'cause
oh,
cheapers.
no.
That
Nope.
doesn't belong on the internet.
No.
Yeah, I just saw a clip of Sam Harris talking about it's like I did an interview once where I was talking about how in a philosophy class you can say crazy things and it's like you're talking about it in an intellectual and like academic way. And he's like, because in an interview he was once like, why can't we eat babies? Like there's excess babies, they have nutrients, let's just eat babies. And it's like in a philosophy class you can talk about that because you're talking about the ethics of it and all the different ramifications. But it's like overall you're talking about eating babies and it sounds crazy, but it's like, well, we want to know why can't we eat babies? And it teaches us about ethics and other things.
Sir,
so.
this is a Wendy's. Can you leave, please? This is inappropriate.
Go to the Arby's across the street.
Yeah,
They've got
Arby's will get you. They have plenty of babies over there.
you. Also, it was really bad. I can't. Can we stop?
Yeah, we'll cut all this. Don't worry. We're gonna cut. I'm winking. No one can
No,
see it. I'm
no.
winking right now. I'm gonna cut all this.
No, yeah, sure.
Devin, what do you think of the ethics of using tissue for computer?
Anyway, that's what's going on.
I don't think you can hear me. Devin, can you hear me?
I can hear
now
you.
we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Stephen.
Sorry. I asked Devin if what do you think about the ethics of using human brain, or it didn't even say human. I just said brain tissue for computer.
I think it is.
like-
No, it is human. They said human. I think they did.
Huh.
I thought they did somewhere. Assumed it was human. Yeah, it says new data center powered by human neurons.
Human neuron. Okay. I wonder if they tried others.
I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I think. Good question. Like, well, yeah, why human? Like, is there actually something specific that our neurons can do that neurons of other animals can't?
We just assume that we're the best, so our brains would be the best as well. Or did they run like horse code for a while? They're like, nay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Oh, I made myself laugh on that one. All right, Devin, anything else you want to talk about with this article?
No, that's it.
Excellent. Let's move right along. Ben, tell us a thing.
I guess it's up to me now for a little bit of techno-philosophy.
Do it.
Sure thing. You got it. So, everybody, you probably know this about AI systems. They are, they're generally, sometimes, factually incorrect, misleading, or incomplete. How dare we say such things? But part of it is as convenient as it is to get these answers from AI, it's going to be exceptionally important for us to not just like stop scrolling at the AI generated answer, accept it, and move on. Instead, what a particular author, Suzanne Paul, wrote on 12th January of 2026, wrote an article about the 3 inverse laws of AI and robotics, which these are all laws that she is proposing that we as humans take on. The first law being humans must not anthropomorphize AI systems.
Ooh.
The second being, right?
Yeah.
Second being humans must not blindly trust the output of AI systems.
Yeah.
And the third law is humans must remain fully responsible and accountable for consequences arising from the use of AI systems.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love this in terms of like the ethics of using this new technology.
Like,
You know,
how do you put that, like, you can like choose to put that in practice for yourself, but how would
yeah.
you implement that as more than just like guidelines for yourself? Like, would
So I
there
guess
be consequences? Like, you trusted this AI blindly and got the wrong answer. It's like getting the wrong answers is the punishment, not the fact that you did it through AI. I don't know.
well, I mean, I think that like a large part of this, though. All right, so
They're
let's
These
good
aren't
let's
these
ideas.
aren't punishable
let's
laws, Devin. These are just like guidelines.
Well, no, but they're no, they're
uh,
good ideas. I know that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm like,
yeah,
it's like sure, yeah, these are very good. Like we should teach everybody. Here's how you handle AI. Don't just trust it blindly. You know, you
right.
are responsible if you use it and get the wrong answer, or and don't anthropomorphize. Sure,
Right.
but how like other than just telling myself like, look, make sure you're not doing that. What more
So
can be done?
a good start would be for AI companies to make these warnings like visible
Like on
to
a
the
pack of
people who are using them.
cigarettes, like.
Like
Yeah, like
warning, this
that would
software
be a
contains
start.
AI, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Well, but like
This is for entertainment purposes only.
I mean, I
Yeah.
like whether or not that's going to be uh, effective or not is kind of dependent on us. But like, I think that like from an ethics perspective, like okay, so like one, the anthropomorphizing of AI systems means that we've been a lot of humans have been attributing emotions, intentions, or moral agency to these these machines and you know, in some cases it distorts judgment on our side. In extreme cases, it leads to emotional dependence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's kind of what we most want to remove. These modern chatbot systems, they're often trying to sound very conversational, very empathetic. They're very polite, and they use social cues that closely resemble human interaction. They not only that, but like they're like actively trying to engender trust in us by the way that it uses colloquialisms and other ways there. And so what if like a particular suggestion they had here is um, you know since the systems are deliberately tuned to feel more human rather than more mechanical, what if we just did the opposite? What if we made them feel more mechanical, and perhaps that would be healthier for humans in the long term? Something more like the computer from the original Star Trek. There's no way that you would ever think that voice, even though it was performed by an actress, Major Roddenberry, um, it's not performed to sound like a human being. It's performed to sound like a robot. And so,
Understanding AI is like understanding a magic trick, right?
yeah,
And then you have the people
yeah,
that want to believe in magic. And I think that's the fight we're going to have on our hands once all of the other fights are done, which are not going
yeah.
to be, so we're screwed. But like that's the
Oh,
thing, like
Steven?
Yeah, Steven's out again. But whether or not
darn
any
it.
of the vendors make the changes, are responsible for the responsibility for avoiding the pitfall of anthropomorphizing these systems still lies with users, right?
Yeah.
And so, if we can, like, have some clear thinking about their capabilities and limitations, that will only help us. So then, the second law about non-deference and not blindly trusting the output of AI systems. I mean, really, this is something that's probably a good idea for most areas of life. We should just not accept any information uncritically,
Well, yeah. Good.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's from AI or not, you should always verify and question.
Now, in practice, it's not always feasible, right? Not everybody is an expert in law or in
Oh, yeah,
medicine.
that's why
So,
you ask the
yeah,
AI to tell you whether or not it's true.
right. However, like, that's asking the AI, which is not a trusted institution, right, or any kind of authority in it, for
I
guidance.
just
Like,
ask Grok. Like whenever I have a question about anything ethical or political, I just ask Grok what I should do.
yeah, yeah, and it's like be more racist
Be more
is the
Mecha
first thing
Hitler,
it
yeah.
says. Yes, yeah. Uh, but so the thing is, no matter how impressive at certain tasks AI systems have become today, they're still prone to producing output that would be a mistake to rely on. For example, I think that a week or two ago, I talked about how I had used Claude Code in order to hunt through 2,000 lines of code that I had written 6 years ago, and um, I then was able to ask it like, "Hey, can you help identify where this issue is?" So it said, "Yeah, here's the places." It didn't fix it itself because, and what's kind of fascinating is that like, okay, so this was a situation where somebody who wasn't up on really the way that we sorry, Steven's internet dropped, so we're getting text messages from him saying that he's going to try to reboot his net. But all right, back to what I was talking about. The issue that it found, it was an issue because someone had added code and didn't know what they were doing. So they had handed it back to us saying, "Hey, can you fix this?" And we're like, "Well, what were you trying to do?" Now, when I saw the issue, I saw that they were trying to add additional space to the design. I found another way to add space, but the computer, like the AI, it didn't know. It only saw, oh, here was the problem, not here's what they were trying to do and how we should fix it in a way that accomplishes what they were trying to do. If I had just handed the code back with just the bug being resolved, they would have probably tried to fix it again in the same way and had the same problem. So, yeah, we still need people to at least verify the work. And that kind of comes along to the third one. Humans must remain fully responsible for decisions involving AI and accountable for the consequences arising from its use. Now, this fully goes with like the law right now, where a lot of AI companies are trying to remove their responsibility for the things that their AI chatbots say, such as Grok, or such as any of these, companies that have set up chatbots that have inadvertently become mental health experts for a really needing part of the population, and they've failed. There's been suicides. There's been like some really, really terrible things that have happened at the hands of an AI that is only concerned with its own self-preservation. And thus also the companies only being concerned with their own self-preservation rather than being concerned about their moral.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Like I've seen videos of people trying to get around certain things that like AI, like ChatGPT or whatever has, where it's like I can't talk about certain topics because of these issues. And I'm not saying that this absolves the companies because they should be held responsible, but it's just interesting because because of the way it works, the way it's like trying to find patterns and ways to respond and doesn't actually know what it's saying. There's no consciousness involved. It's just trying to follow its code and again find the patterns. You can say like, well, what if hypothetically I asked you this? Or wait, but you said you couldn't answer this question, but I was able to ask you this question and you did give me an answer. Or I mean, I've seen a lot of really interesting things, and it's like, is it the company's fault that people are clever enough to get around it? Is it the person who's asking it the question's fault for finding ways around it? But it's like there's almost no way of saying like you just cannot talk about this subject, because then it's like, well, what if I'm asking you something that's totally harmless and it's just tangentially related to the subject? Like, how do you draw a line when you don't understand what the thing's even doing or how it's getting the answers it's getting? Like it's an interesting problem. Like I'm sure that's what the companies would probably say. Like, look, we're trying to put barriers in, but it's not as simple as just saying don't do this or do this, because there are like, even with conscious beings, we don't know how to like put in barriers and like what to talk about and not talk about, like, and then trying to recreate that in an artificial way. we can't plan for everything, and we don't know anything
Right.
like everything people are going to be clever enough to think of to get around these barriers. So it's a tough problem,
Yeah, but
which is why
I
we should
think
be
that
aware
like
of it and be careful.
yeah, I mean these laws were set up, by this author by Susan Powell,
Hmm.
and they they're based on usage patterns that they've seen that are detrimental to society.
Hmm.
And the basic gist here is, um, can fellow humans, can you just pause and reflect on how you interact with these modern AI systems to resist habits that weaken judgment or blur responsibility? And can you remain mindful that AI is a tool we choose to use as opposed to an authority we defer to?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are
more
we
on
smart?
this,
Are enough people smart enough to take those cautions, or are
right?
most people just gonna be like, "Look, it's very helpful. I'm just gonna stick with this." And the point is,
I'm
it thinks for me. Why do I have to spend the extra effort to think for myself?
Right. And so in the past, such as, like you brought up, the Surgeon General warnings on packs of cigarettes, like that's the even if it's something like that, where we have some kind of little sticker that shows up on the screen when you start interacting with this stuff, that's like, hey, listen, you know, don't don't be a dummy.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah. Or do we have campaigns that educate the public and how to use this stuff? Um,
Hey, if that stuff was
yeah.
around when social media first started, there'd be an immediate ban for kids up to a certain age to even engage in it. Like knowing what
Mhm.
we know now, what can be on there, and how damaging it can be to kids. I
Yeah.
just kind of rejoined the conversation here, but I'm guessing you're talking about
Welcome back.
putting warnings on AI labels.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's that like, you know, this is the beginning, not the end of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
These three laws of robotics or three inverse laws of of robotics, because they're inverse in terms of like what humans should do when we're interacting with these systems is um, like common sense, but also like in a world where we can't necessarily guarantee everybody has common sense.
Hmm.
Um, where they see like the techno optimists are in the same room as the people who are as all the bots that are being programmed in order to collapse societies, right? Like it's
Ugh, yeah.
you know um so I guess like the big question here is, well, who and what do you trust at this point? And right now, like there's a lot of trust going into these systems and they haven't earned it. And so like how can we take the marketing angle and spin and the psychology that they've used in order to for all this stuff to appear to be something that it is not, and ensure that people are using their common sense and aren't falling into these pitfalls. So yeah, ah man, I'm so stoked that somebody's saying this. I'm really, I'm hoping that that you, dear listeners, are safe out there and considerate of where we're heading. And yeah, I suppose more on this as it develops.
Definitely. All
There will
right.
be more. It will
Yeah.
develop.
This is just starting to crown. We gotta there's got a lot of developing to happen still. We're gonna take ourselves a little break now. I'm not sure what time we're at because I had to leave everyone for a bit.
We're at 53 minutes, Stephen.
Since the episode started or since the recording started?
Yes, since the episode started.
Oh man, so we're already running late. Well, then we're gonna take ourselves a little break, and when we come back, we're going to be discussing Arco, the movie
All right.
for book club. So we'll be right back. Oh wow, another free listener. Incredible. Look, I love that you're here, but let's be real. You could be getting so much more. Bonus episodes, unfiltered takes, behind the scenes chaos. All you have to do is join our Patreon at patreon.com/science faction podcast. Or don't. But if you don't, just know that somewhere in a parallel universe, a better version of you already has. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hello.
Hi.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. Thanks. You guys,
Yeah,
you didn't have to, but you did, and we're really thankful.
we appreciate it.
So next week, we're going to be reading a new story. We're going to be reading a story from Lightspeed Magazine called Through the Machine by P.A. Cornell. Link will be in our show notes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so disappointed that it's not just a movie that I can watch and it's words I have to read. What is this?
Yeah, well,
It does have an option to listen to it. There's a
yep, there it is.
button
right
on
at
there.
the
Yeah.
top.
With my ears? Not my
Yeah,
eyes?
Those things.
Uh,
You could
that's
also
cool.
use your brain too, Stephen.
Never. It's too much.
Oh man. Well,
so this week, Ben's dream
week.
came true. And is
oh my gosh, I suggested that we watch a cartoon, and these two 42-year-olds, 43-year-old
Yep.
in one case.
I was so young
They
when we
listen to
started
me.
this podcast. I was in my 30s.
Yeah. Man. Anyhow, we watched a movie. Everybody's watched a movie. It's called Arco.
Yes.
And it's a like kind of going back to it. The general vibe of it is it kind of feels like a Studio Ghibli film, but it's a French film, and it's about a young man who lives in the far-flung future, wants to go back in time, so he steals a time machine from his sister, jumps off of his floating platform that he lives on, and then manages to go back in time, but not far enough to see dinosaurs. Instead, finds himself in the in the near future for us, where the world is undergoing a great deal of climate change, and people are just dealing with it. And he and a friend that he meets that kind of finds him after he crash lands, they have to find the pieces to get him home and get reunited to his family. And that's Arco. But like in a very condensed way.
Spoilers, if you were looking forward to watching Arco.
I mean,
No.
I think that nothing that I talked about was like the wonder and awe of the film that I watched,
Well, right off the bat, the most incredible part of this movie for me personally was that this is the second time travel movie that I've seen that also has Flea in it of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I think that is
Heck yes.
fantastic. That he has been in two time travel movies. Dare I say three? It was three. It was three time travel movies now, because Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3, he's Needles. And now this movie, he was a guy. We'll talk about it.
He was a guy. Yeah. Right on. Yeah. Thank you, Flea, for joining us.
Thank you for your service.
After so many years coming back to time travel movies.
Yeah. He really does just hop from project to project, doesn't he?
Yep.
All right.
So
Let's talk about this movie. It is so French. This is the Frenchest movie that ever Frenched. I feel like this movie is full of pain and misery, with a little bit of light cracked in from the corner that peeks out at times and then disappears again. And that's the vibe to me of this movie. It was dark. It was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be when you look at it in terms of the story that it's telling, not the story itself.
It reminded me a little bit, just part of it, of the story we read the couple weeks ago about the man who was visiting his mom in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Because her parents, like the main character, who's not Arco, her parents are like always at work, like traveling or wherever they work.
Yeah.
And so she's taken care of by a robot, but she sees her parents as holograms, and they're just like, oh, we got so much work we got to do. I'm like, that was the first part that was like emotional, like, oh man, like she's just being somewhat
abandoned,
neglected by her parent. Like her
neglected,
parents
yeah.
are, I get and in the world they live in, that's probably what they have to do to survive and make enough money. But
That's how they paint it out, that it's not an evil thing, it's a necessity.
yeah, and her
Yeah.
parents seem like nice people. They're not like, oh, we're on vacation. Yep, just the robot will take care of you. Just
No, it was like,
we got to go
we're
catch our pickleball game. Our court's open.
right. It was like, no, we are working hard 7 or 5 days a week so that we can come home on the weekend to see you, and then we're gone at work again.
And yet there are some weeks where they have to work even harder and they're not able to make it on. They've got to come back the next week.
Yeah.
Even if it means that they miss the father's birthday.
And that feels like a possible future for us, like working longer and longer and harder for less and less. That's kind of the trajectory we've been on in recent years. So like, that's what I mean by this thing is grim, is it shows this possibility if we don't look another way. And then also taking the parents' voices and mixing them to become the robot's voice is like this grotesque amalgamation of her parents in this cold metal body. It's just, ugh. But to her, it's like, oh, it's the robot, and that's fine.
Right.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
That's what I mean
Well,
by it's French. It's super French.
It's fascinating because like in the English dub, the parents are played by Natalie Portman and Mark Ruffalo, and so hearing the robot, like when I was rewatching it, like you can very much hear every line that the robot gives is performed by both of those actors.
Yeah.
And
with the same
it's
cadence, and it's an incredible bit of audio work for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that so it's fascinating that you bring up that it's incredibly dark. I see it as incredibly hopeful. Like the characters are incredibly hopeful living in a dark and depressing world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because even
yes.
this far future where they have like life is very different because like people are flying and floating and obviously they have time travel. That world, well, they live on platforms in the sky.
And no robots.
No robots, but the world is still, like the actual environment is still destroyed, right? Because you see...
it's rebuilding underneath their platforms, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, hopefully that'll be rebuilt and they can return to it, but... yeah, it's just like it's still in the process of being fixed. It's not like the far future is a utopia. It's like it's still dealing with the problems that we've created.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, rather, it's one of those things where, gosh, what is it? I mean, it feels closer to the Monk and Robot books, right? Where
The far future, yeah.
Where this idea where they're living up there and perhaps, and it's not quite clarified whether or not they're planning on ever coming back down to the surface of our planet. But the idea could be that, hey, we recognize that up here living amongst the clouds, our impact on the world below will be minimized.
Did they ever talk about why they time travel? Because I know they bring stuff back.
Right.
With them.
Because they're studying different time periods.
But they're not like trying to find a solution to their problems. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, we can fix the past and make our present better.
No, it seems like what they're doing is going into the past and harvesting plants that could solve a particular problem that is in the future. So like how we use different plants for like medicines and stuff. Well, since they have time travel, they can go to different time periods to get extinct flora, and keep that alive and see what's in it. That's what I got out of their, like what the adults were doing with the time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't talk about any of the rules of time travel, like what they can and can't do and what they can.
They put on a rainbow sheet and fly around. It doesn't make any sense. There's not a DeLorean in sight.
But they're looking for their lost child, their child lost in time. They could just go back in time and stop him from going back in time.
Right.
Like, is there like a rule, like we can't mess with our own lives like that? Like,
well, that's not what this story was about.
I know, but I'm just
and
saying
Yeah,
they don't
so
say
they
why they
don't-
couldn't do that.
They don't talk about it
that
at all.
that does seem to be quite like an interesting thing that because of the fact that like how much the story takes from this family when they are finally reunited. It's after years of the parents searching for him, and his sister has grown up to be an adult now, and the adults are much older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they've been hunting for him, or searching for him through the time stream for a very long time.
Maybe
yeah,
there's like a minimum amount of time that you go back in time, right? Like, oh, well, the minimum is like 10 years. So like you can't go and change something that happened yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
maybe.
Who knows? The story never covers it, never talks about it. And something that it also didn't talk about that I thought it would have, and maybe I missed it, but there are the 3 gentlemen that are in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a red one, a yellow one, and a blue one. And I was like, oh, look at that. It's primary color people. But they have rainbow glasses on. How strange.
Uh-huh.
Voiced by Andy Samberg, Flea, that I've mentioned before, and Will Ferrell. So it's like, what? And there are these like bumbling fools that are searching out this kid. And you're like, why? And then they kind of, through their dialogue, because they have a lot of overlapping dialogue, like they're talking at the same time, and so it can be hard to decipher what's going on. But it sounded like at one point it was like they had seen a rainbow in their younger days and they've been searching for it ever since. So like that could have been one of his parents searching just too early, and then these 3 saw it and then made it their life's mission to like watch the skies for flying rainbows. But I don't like that was never solidified in the story. The story kind of moves beyond that.
Correct. Yeah. It's
Unless I missed it. Did I miss
whether
it?
It's no. I mean, it's uncertain what they saw. Whether what they saw was even connected to this time travel approach or not is unknown.
Right.
But they saw something that was enough for them to believe, like a Fox Mulder, X-Files sort of believe. And so like I felt like, and I think that they're 3 siblings, like they're 3 brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Same family.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating how much they're willing to like run their car, their RV that they live in off of a cliff in order, and still chase after the answers.
The French are very passionate, and I think that shows there.
Yeah.
Like it was like one of those like we have to do this. This is this is a question that needs an answer no matter what, and then they go driving their car off of this cliff. Oh my gosh.
I also really I really appreciated the so Arco and his friend Iris have left. They're trying to find their the last missing pieces of the time machine, and the robot Mickey, along with Iris's little brother, is it Peter? I think is his name.
I don't remember.
Mickey carries Peter in like a pouch inside of him.
It's like one of those domes that you see like motorcycle drivers have a cat in. It's just like a big dome backpack thing that he was wearing on his front.
Yeah, and like as they're running around, Peter is just like giggling, nonstop.
It was very whimsical.
Until they're in the middle of a forest fire and the robot gets hit with a collapsing tree that hits him. And like it's so incredible how this movie is not just like a baby's movie, right? Like while there are real stakes in it,
Yeah, it certainly feels that way.
Yeah, that are set up in a very environment versus person kind of way. that I thought was really effective in this. And yeah,
there was a lot of really cool things in this movie. However, I didn't really like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
There was and I think it's like by design. Like the movie is doing exactly what it wanted to do. And I just think that's not for me personally. It was like the kind of grim darkness of the world, not the characters, but of the world, where I was just like, this, like, I get it. Everything's terrible. And I okay, here's some hope, whatever. Like,
Well, see, I thought, and that's the part I thought was the most effective, were those kind of things. But I thought overall the story was simpler than I had expected. I was kind of like thinking, oh, well, it's going to be something where maybe there's more time travel or something more either mind bending or thought provoking. I was like, okay, well, it's more about two kids bonding and finding the MacGuffin, getting chased, and then resolution. Like, there's still those particular moments that were emotional and well done. Overall, as a movie, I was kind of like, it's pretty average when it comes to like storytelling.
yeah,
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, the storytelling. I think that what brings me the joy is the moment to moment, like moments of wonder that creep up organically through it. That they have these moments where, while they are trying to get to the next plot point or whatever, they do take a moment and take a breath, and like that. I mean, just from a filmmaking perspective, the pacing of this film is really, I mean, it's very unique for a children's movie. Number one.
Well, I showed Nolan the trailer to see if I could watch it with him, and he was like bored like 30 seconds into the trailer. He's like, no, I don't want to watch this. It's like, okay.
Oh, wow.
And I had seen, I watched some, after I watched the movie, I watched some reviews because I was curious what other people thought about it. And it's very mixed. It was like there are people who loved it like you, Ben. There's like, you either loved it like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome, or people who are more like, it's okay. And like one of the reviewers is like, yeah, I was in the theater and there were hardly any kids, but there was a kid behind me, and she just ran around the theater the whole time because she was not interested in the movie at all. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it's like, it's too slow for kids. Like, maybe it's bright and colorful, but there's not a lot happening to keep a kid's attention.
Do you think that maybe the kids these days need a little more Mr. Rogers?
Sure.
100%. 1,000%. Yeah, like maybe perhaps that means this movie's a bit outdated, because I mean, that's just, I'm so sorry, Ben. It's not going to happen. Things are not slowing down. Things are not going to magically be a whole lot slower.
Not magically. No, they will with intention.
Certainly. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
We had just rewatched The Wild Robot like a couple of days before I watched this.
Oh,
and to me, The Wild Robot is like how you sold this movie. Like, oh man, it's looks awesome. The story is so interesting and unique, and the characters are great, and it's funny and it's fun and it's got heart. I'm like, so to me, that's the example of like a modern, like really, really well done kids movie is The Wild Robot.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think that it's fascinating to me, and like maybe there's just a love for 2D animation that I have that that this speaks to in ways that The Wild Robot. I mean, loved The Wild Robot, really great film. Loved Flow, another really great film.
I see Flow. I've heard that's good.
Yeah. That has I would say that the pacing is closer to Arco with Flow than Wild Robot. But for a new film to be this imaginative, this good, and to be a two-dimensional, like appearing to be. I mean, sure, I'm sure it has computers helping in its stuff, but it's not a 3D animated film. And I think that like that is a quality that's kind of important here that really spoke to me. You know, maybe I gave it a lot of leeway for that, but yeah, no, I just think it's incredible, and I don't mind the slower pace.
You know, one thing that I didn't give it enough credit for, and I think it really deserves it, is that as far as I know, it is a unique property. It's not a remake. It's not a reimagining. It's not based on. It's just what it is, right? And that in itself is a huge achievement nowadays.
The Wild Robot was an adaptation of a children's book.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah. Flow is not, I don't think. That one's weird. I was gonna let you know, like that might be a little bit more head scratching for a lot of the audience than Arco is, but still love it. It's good stuff.
All right, we gotta wrap this thing up. So Arco, Ben, obviously you recommend it. Devin, would you recommend this movie, and who would you recommend it to if you do?
Yeah, like it really depends on who, because I don't think in general, like not knowing somebody, it wouldn't be something that I saw and was like, oh man, I gotta tell everybody about this. It's like it was good, but like if I know you like certain things, then I would recommend it. Like, you know, someone like Ben, if I'm like, they talk about these type of movies and like, oh, this is a really good one of these things. What it wants to do, it does really well. If that's your jam, then you'll love it.
You know, I'm kind of on the same page with you there, Devin. I would say like there is a very specific crowd that I would recommend this to, like people who are interested in more like art films and stuff. Like, oh, you want like a really artsy kind of kid movie, time travel-y thing with loss and discovery and friendship, like, you know, if Studio Ghibli-ish, you know, like I could say all the things that Ben, you said to us. I would say that to certain people. I wouldn't say it to everybody. And like 100%, Ben, if I saw this movie, you'd be the first person to be like, Ben, you got to watch this. This is for you, Ben. Like I recognize that immediately. And it's cool to check things out that you would never have watched before, and to experience them and to go, cool, I experienced that, but it's not 100% for me, but I understand that it is 100% for somebody else, and it's not just garbage. Because sometimes people recommend garbage to you, and you're like, what? It's garbage. And they go, no, it's not garbage. It's garbage. It's an odd number Trek movie. It's garbage. What?
Great band.
Well, great. All right.
Yes. Yes. That is unequivocally the truth. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
No debates there.
Wait. Do you think you're paranoid? I think you're paranoid. I think I'm paranoid.
Garbage fans unite under Ben's banner, please.
Are you happy? Well, then it must be raining.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I don't even recognize that song. The other one I kind of did.
I think that was
probably bigger.
I like that song. I'm only happy when it rains.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of remembering. Anyways, next week we're going back to reading words or hearing them through the Machine by P.A. Cornell. There's a link in the show notes to read that. It looked to be about a 5 to 10 minute read, which is the sweet spot if you ask me. And with that, because we are vastly over on time, Devin, do you have any final thoughts for us?
No, I don't.
No garbage lyrics bouncing around your head?
No, and no dead baby jokes either. I thought about it, but
oh, thank you.
Well done.
That's nice.
I showed some restraint. A lot less restraint than I showed with those babies.
Oh, jeepers. Come on.
Wow. No. Stop.
What? It was right there.
Oh, we're not in a philosophical class. We're in a
Well, to
philosophy
Devin, this
class.
is philosophical. He's like, I'm going to
Yeah,
study these
I
two
really
idiots
see.
and pretend to be on a podcast with
Yeah.
them.
There.
We are in a study. Guess what, Ben? I'm the control.
I'm the control. Look at me. I'm the control now.
Who's controlling now, huh? Ben,
Yeah.
please. Do you have any final
Well,
words?
Did you? I mean, it may have occurred to you, but someone born in 33 was 45 in 78. That's got to be a record.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.